Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today's lecture is on the topic food labeling, functional food and food supplements. Okay, I'm taking the first topic as food labeling. Food labeling is generally controlled by Food Labeling Regulation and later amendments and more recently by European laws. Legally, these regulations fall under the Food Safety Act of 1990. So, under the food labeling, the information required by the law is your product name. First one, this must be clear stated that a product with made up names must give up the description of the food, and if the food has undergone processing, for example smoked one, the process must be stated, means up to which the food is being processed. That process should also be must be stated on the envelope in labeling. The name must also distinguish between the similar products. For example, orange drink must contain oranges, while orange flavored drinks can be made with the artificial flavoring. So this comes under your product name. Next is your specific requirement is ingredient list and quantity. The net quantity of the food must be present unless it is less than 5 gram. Ingredients are listed in descending order of weight, and all ingredients includes your additives and water must be listed, and a compound ingredient that does not constitute more than 25% of the final product, for example your pepperoni on a pizza, or did not have to be listed until recently. So these are the ingredients that should be listed in labeling of the food material. And what is the prescription? I told that it is labeled on basis of weight in descending order. Third one is your quantitative ingredient declaration, QUID. Quantitative ingredient declaration, in this an ingredient that is featured in a photograph or drawing on a pack or in the description of the product. For example, your potatoes in cheese and potato pie must state the quantity of the ingredient declared as a percentage. This is required by all the countries' labeling law and is known as quantitative ingredient declaration. Fourth one is your allergenic ingredient. From November 2005, food and drink labels must state clearly if they contain ingredient to which people may be allergic or intolerant, because some of the ingredient people do not find it suitable for their body and they have some allergic response against that chemical. So in that regard, they must have to be appeal on the labeling about the allergic or intolerant if some of the chemicals have been used. The manufacturer will also have to make it clear if the ingredients are made up of the allergens. For example, it is not enough to state glaze under new regulations. The label must state glaze made from X, etc. Fifth one is your shelf life. Shelf life labels must give information on how long the product will last once it has been bought or opened. This information is intended to ensure that the safety and the quality of the food and to prevent the food poisoning. The use by label must be used for perishable foods such as your cooked meats with the deteriorates and can be dangerous to health after a relatively short period. And it is also, for example, you have seen the use of milk packet, means there is a prescription is written there, use before this date to this date. it is an example. So best before must be expressed as a day, month and short period. Best before must be expressed as a day, month and short period years, and is used to indicate that a food's flavor, color and texture may not be at its best beyond this period, although it is probably still safe to eat. For products with a shelf life longer than 3 months, best before ends is used. Display until is not required by law, but it is used by your retailers to alert staff to the need to remove the products from the sale. Wine and Sprite do not have to be date marked. Next is your storage instruction. Detail must be given on the condition needed to ensure freshness of the food. Following are the instructions should be ensure that the product's appearance and taste are optimum and prevent spoiling too quickly, so minimizing the risk of food poisoning. So storage instruction is also important to be labeled on the envelope of the food, so that one person should know how to store the food material. Suppose some of the food material is required to be stored in cold condition to prevent any microbial growth or contamination, or to prevent the spoilage of the food, while some of the ingredients are, some of the food materials are, you can easily be placed at a normal room temperature. So that is why storage instruction is also required, and it should be also labeled on the envelope of the food. Next is your name and address of manufacturer, packer and seller. So these must be stated on the package so that the consumers have a point of contact if they want to make a complaint or need more information. Next is your country of origin. The label must clearly state where the food is from, and if it would be misleading not to show it. For example, French onion soup made in Scotland. So it is also be required to mention the proper country from where the product has been came. Next is your weight and volume. The volume or weight of the product must be shown on the label. This enables the consumer to compare the value of different brands. The symbol E shows the weight complies with your requirement in that average pack is at least declared weight. Some of the food, example butter, tea, are sold only in the standard amount. Product that weight less than 5 gram do not have to have a stated weight. Last one is your instructions for use. Instructions on how to prepare and cook the product must be printed on the packaging whenever it is necessary. Suppose you have seen the packet of Maggi or any of the spices packet in which the proper instruction with the diagram is shown, first how to boil, how to cook, and after 5 minutes, for example, I'm saying. So that instruction should also be given. Oven temperature and cooking time are stated if the product needs heating, or instruction on microwave cooking may also be given. The instructions are given so that the food can be consumed at its best and to reduce the risk of the food poisoning by usually heating to a core temperature of 75 degrees Celsius. Okay, next topic is your nutrition information labeling. Suppose food manufacturers are not required by the law to display the nutrition labeling. If a nutrition claim is required, that is high fiber is made, this must be supported by nutrition information on the label. Label may state recommended daily amount of guideline daily amount. The first system requires that the energy content of the food be given in kilojoules or kilocalories. You must have been seen all the ingredients that is made up of the food material is being calibrated in calories, and the amount in grams of protein, carbohydrate or fat per 100 gram or per 100 ml. Manufacturers may also show the values per item or average serving. The second system supplies these details together with the information on sugar, fiber, sodium and saturated fats. So details on starch, your monosaturated fats, polysaturated fats, cholesterol and some minerals and vitamins, if they are present in significant amount, may also be given. So this is the important thing, that whatever the food material is made up of, that should be prescribed on the proper in the form of proper labeling on the envelope, that what are the contents that has been used in which amount, in which nutritional amount, so that the product should be made good for you and should be considered as a good healthy material for your body. That is why the nutritional information is required on labeling. Next is your nutrition claim. A nutrition claim is any information other than the nutrition or a high or low amount of nutrition. So nutrition claim is required if the particular quantity is less or a particular quantity is used in higher amount. Nutrition labeling must be given if a nutrition claim is made. Nutrition claim refers to the presence of nutrient, example your source of iron, or nutrient function claims refer to the physiological function of the nutrient. For example, it helps the children development strong bones. Comparative claims use terms such as your lower or higher quantities of the nutrient when comparing food, example containing 25% more iron. So nutritional claim is also important regarding your food labeling and nutrition, if maintaining the nutrition of the body. Term here such as low, light or high or are not defined under the current legislation, but it will provide definition and ban statements such as percent fat free or term diet. The Food Standard Agency guideline on nutrition content claims for your sugar, fat, saturates and sodium salts should be under the guidelines on the guidelines of the agency, Food Standard Agency. Next one is your functional food and nutraceuticals. Functional foods are the foods with the health promoting benefits or disease preventing properties above their nutrient value. And whereas nutraceuticals are the foods for which a claim is made for a specific health benefit, they are often sold in the form of drugs such as your pills or capsules. Many nutrients and foods have nutrient or health claim or functional food or nutraceutical, but claims are not always proven. There is currently no law that controls these claims, and it is generally accepted that health claims such as can help lower cholesterol as a part of low fat diet can be made if the claim is supported by your scientific research and is not misleading. So functional or novel food must go through a safety approval process before they are launched. Products that were sold before 1997 do not have to undergo this process, but now after that it has been made compulsory and made through the go further under process. In the UK, the Joint Health Claim Initiative has established the guideline on voluntary schemes for health claim. Regarding this, I am taking the few examples of your functional food, such as your cholesterol lowering spreads. These spreads contain the plant sterol and stenol and have been shown to reduce the amount of cholesterol absorbed. So they have been shown on lower LDL cholesterol by shown to lower the LDL cholesterol by 10 to 15% after a few weeks of use. And in many countries, all plant products with sterol apart from the margarine and have been banned, as there was no evidence that high intake are safe. So in these countries, for example, the Australia and the New Zealand, Food Authority also required spread to carry a warning that they are not appropriate for infant and children and pregnant ladies and breastfeeding women, as they may interfere with the absorption of the beta carotene at the moment. Such spread are expensive compared with the normal margarine or butter. Next example is your omega-3 enriched eggs and dairy products. So omega-3 enriched eggs and dairy products with the fish oil containing your omega-3 fatty acids have been shown to have several health benefits, and the incorporation of these oils into your hen's egg or dairy product offers alternative food source for the people who dislikes the fish. Third example is of your isoflavin. Soya beans are isoflavin. The soya beans are incorporated into the foods and sold as supplements as a source of isoflavin. So the health benefits of isoflavin are so many, have used in food supplements, and it could be used to enrich the to reduce the protein, to enrich your body with the protein content. Next topic is your food fortification. Okay, some of the foods are supplemented with the nutrients for their benefits above normal health benefits. For example, in the UK, the flour is fortified with the calcium and margarine is fortified with the vitamins A and D. It is also been seen that there occurs a folate fortification also. In folate is frequently added to your cereals, and there is a considerable debate, we can say, in the UK as to whether or not to fortify all the flours and flour products. Flour is fortified with the folate in USA, Canada and China. The argument for and against folate fortification is due to, in the argument for the fortification of the flour and folate is due to the prevention of neural tube defects. Means the fortification of food is done in order to prevent the neural tube defects, and it also be helpful in low folate status is associated with the elevated homocysteine, which is at risk factor for cardiovascular disease and is linked to some cancer including colon or breast cancer. But who were the against for this? They have included their term, and they included their statement that there occurs an uncertainty about the bioavailability of the folate, and also it affects the consumer choice, and also high consumption of folic acid may mask the diagnosis of vitamin B12 deficiency in the elderly. So fortification is good, but sometimes it becomes the topic for the debate, as some of the people wants the food fortification should be best, but some have some doubt for using the food fortification products. Next topic is your probiotics. Probiotic bacteria are often described as healthy or friendly and are not potentially pathological bacteria. Probiotics are taken as a food, usually yogurt, and are present as live bacteria which are taken in doses of million colonies. So probiotics generally suggest benefits of taking probiotics, for which some evidence is available. I'm talking about that it helps in improving your symptoms of lactase intolerance. It helps in reduction in susceptibility of stomach allergies. It is also helpful in controlling of irritable bowel symptoms, and it inhibits the Helicobacter pylori, which is responsible for the information of some peptic ulcer. It is also helpful in alleviation of some diarrhea. So probiotic is generally a good product if we are using as a functional food and fortified food. It is estimated that there are 10 to the power 14 bacteria in the human guts, and claim that ingestions of probiotic bacteria improves the balance of bacteria in the gut and thereby reduces the risk of diseases. So often described as healthy and friendly bacteria, potentially pathological bacteria. With that probiotics, there also occurs a term prebiotic. A prebiotic is a food that is not digested by the gut, but and that stimulates the growth of certain bacteria in the colon. Ingredients that have prebiotic properties are your inulin and fructooligosaccharides. Some frequently used probiotic bacteria, for example, your Lactobacillus acidophilus is a type of probiotic bacteria. Your Lactobacillus rhamnosus, Lactobacillus bulgaricus, Lactobacillus salivarius, Lactobacillus sporanginis, Bifidobacterium bifidum is some of the examples that has been used as a probiotics. Next is your food supplement. Food supplements are defined as a food stuffs, the purpose of which is to supplement the normal diet and which provide the concentrated source of nutrients, which includes again your vitamin and minerals or other substances, with the nutritional and physiological effect alone or in the combination, marketed in the dose form, designed to be taken in measured small unit quantities. So food supplement is a kind of we take it in the form of drug that helps to develop some of the ingredient which our body lacks to develop. So in many countries, the average diet supplies adequate vitamins and minerals to prevent deficiency, and for the majority of the people, supplements are not necessary. So supplements are generally not required by every person, but it is required by some of the people who do not recover their body by food only. So along with that food, they also require some supplement which is given in small quantities as a form of drug, which helps to boost up their body with the lacking nutrient that is required for their body. The range supplement available in health food shop, chemist, supermarket is growing with the vitamins and minerals, fish liver oil and evening primrose oil being the most popular supplements. Food supplements fall between your medicines and food, and it is difficult to regulate their marketing, and it is very important in our day-to-day life if we are taking the food supplement, because food alone cannot provide the whole nutrients to the body. That is why food supplement is somewhat important for some of the people, which is taken by. Next topic is your labeling. So manufacturers must not make claim referring to the prevention, treatment or curing of disease or refers to such properties. The label must display the names of the nutrients and substances that has been used by preparing the food material or whatever the materials has been packed, the portion required for daily use, warning not to exceed stated dose, statement to the effect that supplement should not replace a varied diet. Their labeling should also include a statement that the product should be stored away from the children. It should not be implied with that the balanced and varied diet cannot provide an adequate amount of nutrients, and also amounts of nutrients available in the recommended dose. So a range supplement are available for clinical uses, for example high energy drink which are prescribed or recommended by your healthcare professional. So that is why labeling must have some these points, so that none of the risk could be taken place and it would be prescribed in a small amount. Thank you for being with us. For more information, please log on to our website www.itlsacademy.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Twitter, and do not forget to subscribe our channel ITLS Academy at YouTube. Thank you.